Hello, hello. Welcome back, everybody. All right. So, first off, really great to see you guys. I know we're at that big final wrap up right before Christmas. I do want to give all the Taurians out there a heads up. You guys, I recorded a video for you that it was my error. It didn't get released to you properly. It was the last in the series that everybody got on Sunday, and yours didn't come out on Sunday as it should have. It was just a click of a button problem on my end. So, apologies. It has just been released for you. So, it is visible now. It'll be in the playlist for Taurus. So hopefully you guys get a chance to watch it. And I'm sorry to keep you guys waiting, but you weren't forgotten on Sunday. I just didn't release it for you properly on Sunday. All right. Now, let's also mention I will be getting to all of our winners for the 23rd and the 24th. After this, we'll do a today's topic video, and we actually will have 5 winners. But for right now, let's get to a collective message. Hi, everybody. Perfectionist Virgo, feeling my soul. Black Butterfly 25. Jacob, Bobby. So nice to see you guys. All right. Oh, and last announcement, tomorrow I will start releasing these several part series where we're going to follow one character's adventures. Okay. So I said I'd try to get that out so you guys can binge watch it around Christmas if you're in the kitchen cooking and stuff. So that will start tomorrow. Okay. So I'm thinking it'll probably have 5 to 6 episodes, right? So hopefully that'll be fun. So we start with the 6 of Cups in the reverse for this collective message. We move to a King of Pentacles and to a 5 of Swords. Okay, so for this collective message, we do have somebody that is feeling all kinds of out of sorts, is what it looks like. Maybe they're feeling ostracized. Maybe they're feeling like, after all I do, how come nobody seems to be very appreciative of it? It could be that. It could be somebody saying, I'd like to have like a home, or I'd like to have some kind of, energy where I'd like to be back with someone, but how come they don't seem to be, expressing that same energy toward me? Alicia on her path. Thank you, Angel. You were so kind, babe. Thank you so much for that. Alicia's on her path. Just gifted a membership to Laura S3092. Laura, you are now a member, so that means you can check out anything in the members playlist. Just know every Monday we add a new members video, okay? And there's some extra perks we do in the members corner. Alicia, thank you over and over again, you guys. You're so lovely. We have Wheel of Fortune upright. We have Queen of Wands upright. Okay, this storyline looks like he's very clear on who he's either had conflict with. Hang on. We do have conflict, but I'm starting to wonder if it's not like conflict is good, but let's say there's a reason for this, because we actually have a new doorway opening and we have this Queen of Wands. He's also a king in the upright. So even though we saw him disgruntled, I mean, look, sometimes when we get irritated, it's because we have a right to be irritated, right? Maybe he's spot on saying like, I gave a ton of my time, my money, my consideration. I was a good provider. I was a good, person in the family. I did all this. And frankly, this is not even a place where, I'm either wanted or recognized. So it's done. I'm out. I'd rather go someplace else. And it almost feels like the minute he kind of considers this, he's headed toward a Queen of Wands. There is a new doorway opening. Look, what I'm going to say is he's a king upright, which means his points would be valid because he's not speaking from like a place of overblown, perspective of who he is. He's not somebody full of ego sitting there all puffed up, and, he's not trying to be tyrannical or like, oh, everybody should, kiss the ground that I walk on. It's none of that. This could be somebody who truly has not felt very, I'm going to make up a word, companionated. He doesn't really feel like he's had like that energy of like togetherness and family around him and support around him, even if he's fostered that. So I feel like he's leaving. I mean, a 5 of Swords says, I'm out. It can be being angry for sure. He may be saying, I'm done with some path. And he may not be saying this to anyone. This could just be, in his mind, he's like, you know what, I'm done feeling this way. It's been frustrating. It's been making me feel less than. This is not healthy for me. So I'm actually not going to deal with this anymore. And it could be that he's already like not exactly interacting But this is him like up here saying, this is no good for me. I'm done. And he's letting go of some idea of a soulmate who I don't really think he had a lot of great connection to anyway. With the Justice card and the World card, look, I gotta say, the behavior that he's calling out seems to be pretty much spot on. And sometimes other people aren't going to do right by us. We have to do right by us, and that means let something go. And so I do think we have a masculine who is like saying, I don't want to heal stuff, I don't want to patch stuff up, I actually am done. I'm the one who was getting the short end of the stick, and this is the day that I choose a new path for me. There's got to be somebody else out there that would be, more loving, more kind, somebody else I can give my energy to who would want it, And maybe that's the bottom line. Maybe he didn't feel like what he gave was even wanted. And it's like, there's no point in doing this if what I'm offering isn't respected, isn't seen as something valuable. So what the heck am I doing? Who wants to make a huge buffet of food and then people show up and they go, oh yeah, I already ate. Oh, I already ate. I already ate. No, I don't want any of your food. It's like, what am I doing? Why'd I spend my money? Why'd I spend my time to make all this if you don't want it? And worse, if it seems like he's been, maybe that's not true. Maybe everybody did want what he had, but they weren't giving anything in return. All I can say is, in this particular story, this is a divine masculine who was not treated nicely or fairly. And the universe agrees with that statement. And the fact that he's saying, that's why I don't want to do this anymore, the universe is like, hallelujah, here's a new doorway. Open up that door. You made the decision to move forward. Fantastic. Here's the reward. There is some beautiful kaleidoscope of color. Sorry, I can't show the rest of this card because you got no clothes on, but it's a really beautiful card. And it just looks like we have an amazing Queen of Wands, somebody who frankly could be like extremely attractive, extremely attracted to him, somebody who is possibly more like she too has her expectation of being treated well. Like she's got a good viewpoint of like, yeah, I'm not actually going to be anybody's doormat, which again, that could suit him very, very well. Two people that have like a lot of self-respect and also respect each other could be amazing. Knight of Swords, High Priestess, Wheel of Fortune. This is fantastic. This is the door that was always supposed to open. It is the doorway that maybe this is happening even more swiftly because perhaps it's been time for a while. I mean, we have the Wheel of Fortune twice. We have some pretty like, magical, mystical energy here with that door being open. And to me, I always look at the Wheel of Fortune as if, it's when our karma changes and then we move forward into the next, kind of more beneficial chapter of our life, or depending on how the card presents, if it's in the reverse, it's like, oh, wow, I've got a whole karmic lesson that I did not graduate from, and it's probably going to be a bumpy ride because it looks like I got to take my lumps and my lessons. But instead, we got the Wheel of Fortune upright for both of them. We got a doorway open here. There's definitely some like mystical, perfectly timed moment. Sometimes the best thing we ever do in our life is walk away from something that isn't, if it's making us feel awful inside, if it's making us hurt, if it's making us feel disappointed, why deal with that when there's so many other options out there in life that maybe would make us feel much more satisfied. And I feel like that's what he's doing right around this timeline. So he's over it. Let me just ask this. I want to go back over to him being done. Is this like you're quietly exiting, or was this something that was already over, but now mentally, King of Pentacles, are you just like dropping it? Page of Swords and Empress. This could be something where with the Page of Swords, because that can be a little bit of secretive energy. We do have the secret library. I think that he's closing this out quietly, but I think this is what he's addressed in his own mind. I don't even know that I think that this is a situation where he has anybody that he needs to tell them, hey, karmic soulmate, I'm not dealing with you anymore. I don't see it as that. I feel like this is him observing something and realizing this is not the way it's supposed to be. There's a great song by Willie Nelson's son, Lucas Nelson, and The Promise of the Reals. And it's in it, he says something about like, I don't mind sleeping alone if it means I don't got to play your silly games no more. You're the most precious thing I ever seen, but that don't mean I'm going to let it slide when you're mean to me. I know the love that I deserve, and I hope you find yourself before I find myself somebody else to be my lover. And in this storyline, I would say this is somebody who isn't interested in going back to somebody. I think that this is, like the song says, I'm not going to let it slide. I don't want to be treated like that. And I just see him exiting because he's like, if I want an empress. I I'm, looking for that. And that's not what I'm getting. I'm getting somebody that isn't even kind to me. So no, thank you. So he's done. And I don't know, will the person that he is done with, will that individual recognize that? Two of Wands, Page of Pentacles, most likely not. In fact, they may still think that they have him in the palm of their hand and that they're whimsically going to pick and choose if they want to still deal with him. They could be very stunned to discover he doesn't respond. He doesn't have a callback. He doesn't reach out to them. And they could be very surprised that he's nowhere to be found. Only because it feels like they were looking at this in a very, this could be a feminine, certainly, who was like, I don't know, do I want him? Do I want, they not want him? They could have been trifling with him. And this is somebody, it says boss babe here. Look, we may have a very out of touch, bloated self-opinion type of feminine here who was so sure she was all that in a bag of chips. That, she dangles people whimsically. Do I want them? Do I not? I don't know. Maybe I'll throw him a little message here and there, but it seems like she forgot your behavior toward him gave him the opportunity to pick whether or not he wanted to be with you. And she was thinking she held all the cards. It's me deciding if I want him or not. Maybe I'll throw him some little tiny breadcrumbs, until I decide what I want to do with him. Nope. He's gone. And you lost a good one. This person seems like they lost a really great divine masculine, but I got to say, how awesome is it to move forward? How awesome is it for this divine masculine to say, I'm not going to let it slide. I don't want to be treated like this. Good for him for saying, I know that there's better out there because what I really want is an empress. And I don't see this person acting like an empress. It doesn't mean he's disrespecting her. It just means he's done and he's moving forward. But in this case, he is the one who was fed up with how he was being treated. And the universe agrees. It was not fair. It was not balanced. And now we can see why. It feels like they were trifling with him. So he's done and he moves on. And the universe is like, yeah, you got a sexy Queen of Wands on the horizon. Somebody that doesn't wear clothes a whole lot either. That's why I can't show that card. How swiftly does he meet this new person? Because I want to look at the context of that. By the way, he could live in an area that's very stormy. It feels like it's going to happen really, really quick. And, oftentimes I'm like, oh, if characters jump from one situation into the next, are they really healed enough? In this storyline, I would say yes, because the Wheel of Fortune came out twice. And that High Priestess, like, it's the perfect time. It is just the perfect time, even though it does happen fast. But we see all the palm trees are like swinging in the wind. We see all this like rush of energy. And so it just feels really, like, yes, rapid, but it's great that it's rapid. We have the High Priestess again and the Death card. Look, again, High Priestess, second time. So I'm going to say this. Most likely, these two, maybe she's recently become single as well, or recently stepped into her full-blown Queen of Wands energy, right? Queen of Wands energy is when, you do feel empowered. You do feel like you know what your worth is. And she could have only recently stepped into that energy herself. We've got several mirrored cards and they're all really good, right? 2 Wheel of Fortunes, 2 High Priestesses, both of which represent doorways opening, chapters opening that were always kind of meant to be. I almost am getting this vibe that maybe him and the Queen of Wands were going to like if you're driving parallel to somebody and they're, 1 block over and you're driving, but when you see, the breaks between blocks, you look over and it's like, oh, I'm still keeping pace with that car and that car. And then finally we come to the same stoplight as, like a city street changes. And now we're being shunted onto the same exact, you know, um, lane or something. It almost feels like that, like their destinies were always going to be interwoven in a way that maybe they both kind of knew when the time was right. When they were both done with other things, that's when the two of them their lives would intersect. So let me ask, did these two know each other? Three of Wands, because of the eye. I have to say, somehow these two, somebody has beautiful eyes too, or maybe they both do. Maybe they both recognize, God, that person has beautiful eyes. That could be something that was a real standout for each of them. I don't know if somebody has green eyes or uniquely colored eyes. Somebody could have hooded eyes specifically. This is still happening before Year of the Snake is out. So we got up until February, right? So somewhere pretty swiftly, we have an ending, certainly for the king. But then we don't really see the entire story. She's already the Queen of Wands over here by the time he intersects his life with hers. But I would have to say, even though this looks at like a timeline of the upcoming future, the 3 days to 3 months timeline, there's something that to me says these two already had spotted each other, thought of each other, and maybe subconsciously even knew somehow. I wonder if our story's not over yet. I wonder, I saw that person with those beautiful eyes. Maybe there's, this could be somebody blushing. So maybe there was a little bit of like an awareness that this person's really quite lovely. Emelisa, thank you, Angel. You sweetheart, thank you so much. You are so incredibly generous. Thank you, babe. I don't know, this, to me, this is coming across like maybe there was a hint of this a long time ago. 5 of Wands, 10 of Wands. But yeah, their time had not arrived. They really needed to deal with what still needed to be dealt with. 5 of Wands, 10 of Wands, a lot of wand energy here, which is passion. It's the adventure. It's the things that needed to still be attended to and taken care of. And that 5 of Wands can be the, thinking and overthinking things. We see kind of an angry lion here. I don't know if somebody has like an orange house cat that tends to have some attitude. I'm picturing a little cat with tude. I don't know why I'm laughing about that. Once upon a time, we inherited a very, very badly behaved cat named Tarna that was just a bitch. And my brother loved that cat. And he said to a family member, if ever you were thinking about rehoming her, I would like that cat. There's something mean about her that I just adore. And sure enough, his wish came true. And the cat was gifted to him. And oh, Tarna, she and my brother had it out. And she used to intentionally pee in the hall. Now there was no UTI, there was nothing. She simply didn't like to go outside. She'd only been an indoor house cat, and she would not tell him when she needed to go out because she didn't like that. And he sat on the couch with a mirror so he could catch her in the act because he's like, I know she's being in the hall. And it was like the two of them had this argument going on. And I just remember it was insane that it was like he had to have proof to tell the cat, I caught you. And I thought, whoa, my little brother's lost it. But that was many years ago when we were like young teens, and it was pretty hilarious. And all I can say is, and the cat just looked at him like, so what? And this is what that reminds me of. So I don't know. I'm sorry to go off on a weird tangent. I don't know if there's this energy here of irritation that had to be proven, like, even though he knew he wasn't being treated nice, this king wasn't being treated nice, maybe he's like, but I have to be able to prove that somebody's being in the hall. I can't just say this isn't okay. I got to have proof. And I'm thinking about it and I'm overthinking it. And really, he didn't need proof. He just needed to be okay with walking away. But he didn't want to be wrong. He didn't want to make like an accusation that wasn't true and say, she's treating me poorly. She's not nice to me. He had to have proof And I think it took him a while to get there, to prove that I deserve to be treated better than this. And that's the only reason I'm explaining all of that weird story about my brother using a mirror, holding it up. And it was weirder than that because it wasn't a mirror. It was a medicine cabinet that had a mirror on it because we were remodeling the bathroom in the house at that time. And he picked up a whole medicine cabinet. So it was like this huge mirror. I will never forget. It's the weirdest thing ever. But the only reason I think that's funny or applicable is because I feel like that's what this king had to do. He had to prove by getting enough data together that somebody was treating him poorly. Otherwise, he wasn't allowed to say, that's not okay. You have to have an outside litter box. Or in this case, that's not okay. Feminine, you can't treat me this way. I don't need to stay and put up with this. I deserve to move on. And that's what had to happen before he could really justify moving forward. Which, no, he didn't need to justify that. But in his mind, he did. And that was one of the delays between the two of them, him and this new Queen of Wands, perhaps getting on the same path or getting a chance to be together. Like that's I think the turn of energy here. 8 of Wands, 4 of Wands, and there he is again. Not this time an angry lion, but a happy lion who's moving forward, and he knows he would like very much, perhaps, to have a chance to hold somebody else in his arms at night. I feel like he's very romantic. He's looking for long term. He wants to be treated well. He has like building a legacy together is what's on his mind. This is not a masculine who wants to hop relationship to relationship. This is somebody was always looking for his long term, looking for the Empress. You know, if he was picking someone, he really intended to go the distance, but he did choose the wrong one for some period of time. And he finally broke himself off of that and said, I'm not getting treated like crap anymore. So essentially, he might have been with a karmic, or it was his own personal lesson that he had to learn, that he's allowed to move on from things that don't treat him well. I still want to go back to this. How do these two meet? It's great to see it coming in swiftly. It's also great to see that this could be somebody that he already has a good opinion of, somebody that he maybe cares about, somebody that he thinks has gorgeous eyes. Let me just ask, do you bump into the Queen of Wands? Or now we have the Sun, we have the Ace of Swords. Oh, his mind turns to her. If he bumps into her, it is with intention. He is a divine masculine who intentionally, like takes steps in his life to pursue what he wants, because this is clarity. This is tons of clarity. We can see his mind is busy thinking about, like, I'm having a new beginning and I would like to maybe talk to that Queen of Wands. So it's basically a Queen of Wands that he already knew existed, but he wouldn't have made a move in her direction unless things were over with somebody else, and it had to be over for the right reason. He's a very big stickler for doing things for the right reason. Tell me about that 3 of Wands energy, though, where you knew her, or there's something about that eye contact. 10 of Swords, 9 of Wands. He'd already met the Queen of Wands at some point in time where this relationship was troubled, or maybe technically it was already like pretty much over, but he hadn't officially called it yet. So I'm going to say that's probably the only reason that Queen of Wands, was somebody who got on his radar, because in fact, he was already done with that other relationship. But again, he didn't make a move in her direction until it's actually wrapped up. Temperance. He already saw that there was something about her that was peaceful, that was calm, that seemed fair, that seemed balanced. It seemed like somebody who cared about others. So he must have interacted with her. That Queen of Wands, let's just talk about her, because I'm picturing she must be very, very graceful. She may have been a ballet dancer, or maybe she just moves with a certain amount of grace. She may be somebody who has just a nice way about her, a way that like calms him. And that would have been the very opposite energy of what he was getting from the person, that he had dealt with. 3 of Pentacles, Knight of Wands, Strength card. Definitely, in his mind, that Queen of Wands could have anybody that she wanted, right? And this Queen of Wands must have come across as single. He may have said, oh, myself and my boss both think she's gorgeous. It could have been something like that. I'm just saying that because there's two individuals here, and yet all three like get along really well. But it feels as if it's like, oh, everybody knows she's really great. There's something very sensual about her, but also very free. I don't know that she like flirts, but there are people that definitely are attracted to her. But you notice how she always kind of seems to be just looking in her own direction. She seems very independent. Somebody who actually was single when he knew her saw her as somebody that didn't like ask other people to pay a bunch of attention to her, was kind of just taking care of her own life, her own things. Somebody we clearly respects, but also a feminine who has a natural sensuality about her and a good rapport with others. It feels like she works with other people like she's their equal, but also has like a sense of incredible, if this is a feminine, like her feminine power is extremely like off the charts. Maybe there's a lot of kundalini energy, but it seems effortless. It doesn't feel like she's trying to flirt. It just feels like she naturally has some attractive qualities to her that make anybody with eyes in their head acknowledge like she's great. But it's more than that. It's the thing that really makes her attractive is this self-possessed nature and the willingness to really collaborate and treat people like they're all equal. So I feel like she's just kind of fun-loving, kind of spirited, very independent, and possibly somebody who's traveled a bit solo, somebody who's done some things, just totally whatever she needs to do, she does it herself. She takes care of her own life. She answers only to her. So she does come across as very like a whole different kind of like, not a femme fatale, who's like, luring people in with coyness, but rather someone whose real attractiveness comes from their groundedness, their self-assuredness, and their ability to take care of their own life. And I think that that's, I don't know, it just seems like she's wearing a hard hat and overalls. It's not exactly the sexiest outfit, yet she's super attractive and she's knowledgeable and she's on the same team and they're working together. And it's like, so maybe he did work with her or somehow like interacted with her. I mean, heck, she could have hired them to do some job for her, but she looks like she was like working with them in some capacity. Whatever this is, however he is known of her, this is his impression of her, which is a fantastic impression of her because it comes with a ton of respect. And somebody who like holds their temper really well too, doesn't like get invested in, needless drama. So Queen of Wands, are you attracted to this king? Seven of Pentacles, Queen of Swords. It feels as if she's a very rational queen. Not only is she a Queen of Wands, but she's also Queen of Swords. And Queen of Swords is somebody who tends to like look at things with eyes that are very wide open. And obviously she was very calm here, but she looked at them as somebody that was also a hard worker, somebody who has dreams and goals, somebody she respects, but someone who she believed was, farming their plot of land, whatever that meant. I don't think she looked at them as somebody like, ooh, I know we're going to be together. I think she looked at them and said, they've got their thing going. If they're with someone, they're with someone. If they're dealing with someone, I can tell that they must be, building that life with someone. She didn't pry into like, hey, are you single? Hey, you want to get with me? Oh, but she's no dummy either. She may have known that kind of seems like they work really hard. Kind of seems like something might be off. Look, a Queen of Swords has a nose for stuff, right? She can tell. You can tell by context clues. You can tell by the way somebody reacts or the words that they say or the words that they don't say. But she also, as a Queen of Swords, is not going to be like, oh, you poor baby, come commiserate with me. Tell me everything about your life. Who's that naughty, mean person that's treating you bad? Come cry on my shoulder. Oh, hell no. Queen of Swords is like, even if I can read between the lines and I sense he's got some kind of issue or situationship going on, but you know what? I figure he'll figure it out on his own. I'm not here to fix other people's problems or become, too much of an ear to listen to anybody's sob story. She's got a lot of respect for him too, even though she could still read between the lines. Being aware of something, but also not prying into it, not trying to insinuate herself into someone else's life, but rather just respecting. I assume they'll do what they need to do. as do we all. Seven of Swords. There is an element though where I don't know if she once in a while could see like the pressure that he was dealing with, like behind it all. He may have come across as somebody like very dignified, very, if she interacted with him at all, it was like he has a good facade on, but she could always still see through it. Again, it's just that's what a Queen of Swords can do. They can see right through things. Queen of Swords, are you single? Were you single? Is that why you felt this way? Knight of Coins, she's like, I've been busy working. I put my dominoes in a row. It's just been me and my turtles. I've been scrubbing turtles. I've been making progress. I sing to the turtles while I scrub them. I got this happy little, I'm hearing Izzy singing somewhere under the rainbow, or over the rainbow, excuse me. She's been solo for a bit. This sexy Queen of Swords, Queen of Wands has been single for a while, working at building her dreams by herself and happy as a clam about it. She's like, I got stuff to do. So she's somebody who has her own ideas on what she needs to do in life. She's not, I think that assessment of her being somebody who like puts her mind to what she wants to do and just goes for it. I think that's spot on. Like what he thought was attractive about her, that is very true. It's so funny because this is somebody who's so not trying to live some glamorous life. What's attractive about her is that she's really doing her life. It's not that it's glamorous, because I mean, working hard for your goals is oftentimes work. It's not sexy. It's not glamorous. It's the effort that goes in to being somebody successful. That's those late hours. That's, working and grinding and doing the sweaty, intense work and becoming, the success that you want to be. She's just always been about, I'm trying to manifest. She's found a place of peace. And we don't see what her backstory is, but we certainly see Alicia on her phone. Thank you again, sweetheart. Oh my God. You are so kind. Thank you, babe. She's somebody who is more concerned at this point with, if I'm going to make my life blossom and I have interests and I have hobbies and I have an identity that doesn't have to do with a relationship, my identity and my desires and the things that I want in this lifetime, the things I want to see and taste and do and build, I have to be focused on those things because it's not going to happen. Nobody's going to give it to me. And I'm not out looking for someone to get them to then give it to me. Part of her joy is in doing the things that she likes. This is a very independent-minded person, not afraid of hard work, and definitely doesn't doubt their ability to make something that they want occur in their own life. And I don't feel like she'd be the kind who'd be satisfied with someone else giving it to her anyway. This is somebody who like tests herself. I think this is a kind of feminine who would always choose freedom and a harder life over an easy life that somebody else controls. I do not see her as controllable at all. She doesn't have to like want somebody else to give to her because she's got the ability to make her own choices here, and don't see her ever surrendering that. So she kind of joyfully works toward the things in her life. But what's more than that, she has real confidence that she can pretty much go for just about anything and get some semblance of what she's after. I feel like this is a character who, no wonder she's very sexy to this masculine, because she seems genuine and dedicated and actually loving her life. She seems like vitally alive and happy, and she doesn't have time for games or game playing. She's busy singing to her turtles as she trudges through life and does her work and has her wins and keeps focusing on what she wants to manifest. Who wouldn't want to be with somebody like that? Like, that's a freaking fantastic person. She's not consumed with this, must have partner. Who's my next partner? Who's my next partner? She's like, I'm my partner. This hand and this hand together, we scrub turtles. Like, my best friends are my right hand and my left hand, and what we can do together. I feel like she's got a great energy to her. And of course, that does also, self-sufficiency is sexy. She happens to also be very attractive, though, like at another level where he's attracted to her. So no wonder, because she doesn't make him her project, and she's not saying, oh, he's with the wrong person, I wish he'd just come be with me. She's like, oh, no. So you got to do you. Just like me, I don't ask people to come save me or do things for me. I take responsibility and I build. And I don't want a partner that doesn't take responsibility and build for themselves. So if you're building with your karmic, you must want to be there. So that's why I don't worry about you, feel sad for you, even if I can be like, well, it looks like a shitty situation you're in, but you know what? You'll decide if you want to stay in there or not. Like that seems to be her attitude. She doesn't assume she's supposed to pull people out of, quicksand when they're not asking for help. So I think that that's kind of an awesome energy for her to be in that state of mind. So let me just ask this. When he does approach you, because he will be, and he is a very empowered king, we got the Six of Wands, we got the Two of Coins sideways. First off, he's going to be thrilled and delighted to start talking to her. She may be like, I don't know yet what his situation is. And she doesn't make swift moves. I'm not sure if he's just wanting to chit chat as palsy wowsies. I'm not sure which hat he wants to wear. I don't know yet. Is he really done with some other situation, or does he just think he's done? I assume he'll reveal that to himself and at the same time to me. So she's not jumping on board necessarily like, oh my God, thank God he's here. Now he's made these great choices for himself. She, again, is somebody who's like, well, I assume it'll reveal itself. I don't know what to think, and I'm not going to spend too much of my precious time trying to figure out. I can tell he's real happy to talk to me. He's going to be putting in some serious time, working on the night moves. Is that Seeker? Working on the night moves. I can't think of the rest of the lyrics. I can hear the rest of the tune. It's got to be Seeker. Emperor. Oh God. He's like fast forwarding. He's not going to be disappearing out of her life. I can tell you that. His intention to pursue her is going to become very, very obvious, very swiftly. He's not going away. He's single now. He liked her before. He likes her even more now. And there's nothing blocking him from pursuing her. He's going for it. Two of Swords, for her, she may be the one saying, let's take this real slow, though. Because, I'm not really interested in, like, anything that feels like a rebound. And again, good for her for, like, whoa. It doesn't mean that she's saying, oh, I'm not sure you know what you want. It's that she's not going to say just because somebody wants to, like, really give their time to me all of a sudden, I have to decide if I want this. Because remember, she's a very independent individual. Just because he's very attracted to her, thinks very highly of her, and really wants to pursue her with an amazing energy, still doesn't mean that this is who she's attracted to. A Queen of Wands is our best queen at saying, no matter how fabulous somebody is, I also have to love them. My heart has to want them. Otherwise, I can't say yes to somebody, no matter how nice they treat me or no matter how much they want me, or even if I think they're great, unless my heart can say yes also. It's not just acknowledgement of amazing attributes. I have to feel the feels. So it doesn't matter how much he pursues if she's still saying, I need to take time to figure out how I feel. And that doesn't mean she's playing with him. If anything, she's saying, we need to build like rapport and figure out, here's the thing, my life, I got these goals, I got these dreams. Are you going to want to like participate, or what kind of, balancing act will we have to do so that both of our dreams and goals can be met? She is going to look at it more like, are we truly compatible? Six of Pentacles. What will I bring to you? What will you bring to me? How will we mesh our worlds together? Because this is not a queen who will abandon any idea that she's already set for herself or any goal she's already been working toward for a relationship, unless the compromise is, so equitable and it really feels right. She's not somebody who puts relationships like not as a priority, but she's also not somebody who loses herself in a relationship. It has to be compatible. Again, that may not sound super sexy, but it's actually the stuff that might make a relationship genuinely, loving and least stressful and most balanced and most successful with her kind of approach. I actually think this is everything that he's bringing in is going to be so much of what she's seeking based off of the kind of person we've seen her being. The Page of Swords, she's definitely getting interested. She's definitely liking the way he does things. She's definitely going to be enjoying this process. And especially if it feels like he clicks into her life, if he's also somebody who wants to manifest, something of substance, that right there. And if he gets along well with like the people that are important to her and vice versa, that could be another thing where it's like, I just haven't got time for drama or anything. So, whatever my life is currently made up of, would you like to add to it? How do you feel about that? And then how can I add to yours? And I think she's starting to get this vision that this could be real nice. Justice card. This could also stir up something else for her that she didn't know, which is the reason she's been so self-sufficient, so solo, has been possibly because, and it may only surface once she's seeing like, oh my God, this person's amazing. Like the way he's treating me is amazing. The way we are compatible is freaking amazing. The way he acts like he cares about my desires, my opinions, the way he wants to participate and he wants me to participate in his life for balance and for harmony because we like each other. I never had that before. That's why I've been so solo. That's why, I didn't even know what I was missing out on, but I didn't have that before. It was always just me. I didn't have people that contributed, and I didn't even know to ask for that. That's why I've just been kind of doing my thing, not expecting anybody would want to come in and contribute. That's an interesting spin that I think it's going to like make her awaken to the fact that she's been a little bit more of an island because she'd been treated pretty poorly in the past herself, but she just kind of like took it on the chin and was like, oh, that's just how it was. So I just, I guess I depend on me. Is that independent woman? Right? Is that Destiny's Child? Yeah. She depended on herself without really realizing maybe most of her life she's just learned to depend on herself. And she's real jolly about it. But now it's like, oh my God, it's so amazing that I would have a partner, that I don't just depend on myself. I didn't know that's what I was missing. That Seven of Wands, this could be something that he's going to slowly realize about her too. This tendency for her to be a bit of an island, he may be starting to understand that also. Like that's what I'm not going to even say that it's a wall exactly that she has up, but like that's the obstacle that he would have to understand that about her. Like she's not just independent. She's somebody who hasn't had anyone to rely on. This is going to be new to her. She's going to do stuff sometimes that he'd like to help with, in a way that like, oh wow, she doesn't know what it feels like to have partner. She thinks she does. She thinks she knows she wouldn't want something unless it's going to be partnership, but this is still going to be new terrain for her. She has not seen yet what we could build together. With that 10 of Pentacles in the reverse, it's going to be like, oh my God. I think both of them are going to have this realization that maybe neither one of us ever saw the fullest potential of what we could build if we had another person that was like really on the same page as us. But that looks amazing. That looks absolutely amazing. I love these two. We have the Seven of Cups and we have the Tower. You know what I actually think? I think both of these characters are great. I think both of these characters have so much to offer, haven't ever like either had the right people to offer it to, and in never having had that before, I think this is going to be like a new layer of vulnerability that they're both going to reach, a new layer of like dropping their walls and starting to like really dive into the truth of what it would feel like to have a genuine partner beside them, somebody that they actually could fully trust. Like there's trust and then there's like big trust, right? There's, like, do I really think that this person would always have my back? The answer here is yes. And I don't think either one of them ever had that. I just think that even they are going to be surprised at how much closer a relationship can become because neither one of them fully appreciated how much they hadn't ever counted on another person. Because I do think it's him as well. This is like walls are dropping, like genuine, like merging of energy flows. I think that these two have a very amazing love story up ahead. But it's going to be deeper than what either of them thought existed. My brain is going to uh, Princess Buttercup, as you wish. I don't know. It just feels like um, this is going to be a love story for the fairy tales. Shauna, thank you so much. You sweetheart. Oh my God. Shauna 1313 just gifted 5 memberships. Empress Unicorn 111, Sandy, Tony Bledsoe, Glow, and Candyman. You guys are all now members courtesy of Shauna. Thank you, sweetheart. That was so nice of you. Thank you, love. And everyone whose name I just listed, just know that means you now can access the members' videos. There's a playlist for members if you go to the playlist tab. And definitely do make sure that you catch, like our Monday video that I just posted yesterday. I add to our members' videos every Monday. And we do little extra perks and things in the members' corner that I just don't want you guys to miss out on. So welcome, everybody. And thank you so much, Shauna. That was absolutely beautiful. Rebel, thanks for being here, honey. You guys are so lovely. Italian Stallion, hi. Raptor, hi. Loving Light Libra, good to see you. Brandy D. Adams, thank you so much, Brandy. Feeling my soul, so good to catch you, honey. Buffy Harris is in the house. Earth Magic 12, Merry Christmas to you also, honey. Breath of Fresh Air, hey, hey. Hi, Bridget. Nice to see you tonight, honey. Librarian 322. Thank you. I'm grateful you don't mind that it's been so late lately. My days have been so busy that it seems like I keep ending up having free time at night. And so it seems like I'm always on here late lately. Hopefully that'll shift over again, but it's just been wild lately. Kylar, hi, honey. Thank you, everybody. MMLJW. Merry Christmas to you also, honey. Thank you so much, Elisa, on her path. That was so incredibly generous. Chastity Harris. Merry Christmas to you also, babe. Slay Princess, AJ. CDW, Emerging Light. Tim Key, hi. Thanks for popping in. Glow, thank you. Holistic Vibes. Thank you again, Emelisa. That was so, so lovely. Thank you for that. Patricia. All right, you guys. And Supernova. Hi, honey. Thank you. Terry J. Dwayne Anderson. Merry Christmas. Oh my God, that sounds amazing. Dwayne Anderson, you are going to go to the beautiful Callaway Gardens area of Georgia. I hope you have the best time and enjoy the 70 degrees for me. It will not be 70s where I'm at. Hi, Myra. Thanks for being here. Muds Mawiki. Merry Christmas, hon. Mwah, right back at you. Tasha Ramos. Hi. And again, Laura S. Welcome. Manzi Luthra. Brujita Beauty. It's me, Victoria. No Filters Mon. Great to see you. Anonymous Angel. Hi, Nicole. And again, thank you so much, Andrea. Black Butterfly 25. Jacob, awesome to see you, hun. And Perfectionist Virgo, you were first in the house. All right, guys, I will see you again in just a minute, and we'll get to our today's topic for the 23rd and 24th, along with 5 winners, okay? Lots of love, you guys. Bye for right now. Glow, I love that. Colleen, Merry Christmas, honey. Vertical Rising, hi, honey. All right, you guys, take care. Bye for right now. I'll see you guys again in a few.